Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 46 for May 5th, 2021. I'm Nemesis and I'm joined by Alcatraz.
Hello.
It's May already. What?
May. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already May. It's already in the year of our Lord 2021. So, some things happened recently in the world of anime. The big one being Madoka Magic getting a fourth movie.
Yep. They just had their 10-year anniversary?
Yeah.
That's what it was?
They had their 10th anniversary celebration, which wound up being moved online because Tokyo's in a state of emergency right now.
Yeah.
So they moved it, and then they announced, we're doing a sequel to Rebellion. And it's called, where was it? Here we go. Walpurgis no Kaiten, aka Turning the Tide of Walpurgis. So,
Walpurgis.
Walpurgis. Yeah.
It's German.
They haven't said when it's coming out, but they released a poster, and there's a little, there's a YouTube thing. It's finally international.
Neat.
And they also announced that pretty much everyone's coming back.
Yep. All the original staff and voice actors and such. I am excited.
Oh, the other part of it was, the soundtrack stuff is now available on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yep.
That's
which is great
deal.
because otherwise it was
Pain in the
somewhat
butt.
more difficult to find.
Yep. Announcement does not have a date on it.
But it is in the works.
Yes, it's in the works. It's happening. Finally.
It's happening.
We complained about it not getting a proper resolution, and now we're getting a proper resolution, or we're not.
Hopefully. That is yet to be seen.
As I said, or we're not.
Yes.
This just raises more questions.
We'll end on another cliffhanger.
Yeah. And the other big thing is Netflix got the rights to Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal, the movie, parts 1 and 2, coming June 3rd. So in about a month from now. Which is, I guess if you've been keeping up with Sailor Moon Crystal, that's the thing, which we haven't because, kind of take a break after watching Sailor Moon last year.
Yeah, there was a lot of Sailor Moon
Especially
to go through.
Since, everything I've heard is Crystal is just not as good.
Yeah.
So I'm a little hesitant to start it, but maybe one day.
We'll be Sailor Moon hipsters.
Well, a lot of people already are. The original's cooler. But anyway, that's I guess the big news in anime world in the last couple weeks. But we're not here to talk about that stuff as much as I'd love to talk about more Madoka. I think you would too.
I would love to as well. Oh, yes.
We have, spring anime to talk about once again for picked at random. Because that's just how you do things. Because otherwise you get kind of a confirmation bias. So you're just going to keep picking the same handful of shows over and over again.
So... idols and girls, and that's it.
Gross.
And sometimes both.
So we picked 4 at random for spring, and we watched the first 3 episodes, and we're going to go ahead and just talk about them, because that's what we do. So the first one we drew, it's called 7 Nights Revolution Eiyu no Keishosa, or 7 Nights Revolution Hero Successor. And it takes place in a medieval fantasy world with some steampunk elements, and there's monsters attacking, and there's a student council called the 7 Knights, and they, kill monsters, because that's what they do. One of them is the council president, Faria Barcelos, and she has an assistant named Ellen, and she meets a guy named Nemo, and turns out he's some sort of chosen one guy thing, looks like, and that's kind of the setup.
Yep.
Apparently, it's actually based on a South Korean MMO. I was like, because I was looking at it, I was like, something about this seems very MMO-ish. Look it up. Yep. Okay. That's why it is an MMO. It sounds like everything clicks into place.
Everything makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like it's weird because it's got a medieval fantasy setting, but they're riding on a train, and then there's also a airship, and it's like
airship. I like airships.
It's mostly the aesthetic, again, very late medieval, almost maybe early Renaissance. And then you got Industrial Revolution tech.
Yep. So it's very much like your standard medieval fantasy type setting.
Yeah.
It very much feels like you're that stereotype.
Except with just a bit of tweaking.
Yeah. With their own flavor.
Yeah. And these weird, these weird black bulbous monster, like almost look like solid gas, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to describe them. The interesting thing about the monsters, the way they show up with this like mindless darkness that kind of
the darkness.
The darkness. They're somewhat shapeless, but not entirely.
Then they turn into monster things,
and they can get like bigger ones. You know what it reminded me of? The Grimm from Ruby.
Yep.
Just vaguely reminded me of that. But apparently they create more of themselves by killing other ones.
They're killing
other
people.
They kill people, and then the person turns into another monster.
Like zombies.
Yeah, like zombies.
Except more scary.
Yeah. And apparently there's a connection between, like, what do they call this? Physis, which is like a cult.
Yeah.
Around the
basically
evil god
creepy death cult.
Yeah, it's a death cult, and that's where they come from.
Yep.
So apparently there was the 7 Knights were originally, like, way back when there were 7 Knights chosen, and they're like really powerful. They kind of banded together to fight evil, but now they're like gone
because they're dead.
They're dead, but they come back as like
spirit guides.
The spirit guides. They're the successors, which is what the school club is about. They kind of like
inherit the power.
They're chosen ones for specific of the 7 Knights.
Yeah, so they kind of inherit their power and whatnot.
Sort of, yeah.
And they can also converse with them.
Yep. So similar to like how the Avatar could talk to his previous versions.
Yeah. Talking about Avatar.
Yeah.
That's
the only connection I can think of to Avatar, but it does remind me of that bit.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing.
There was also the whole thing like apparently the magic can go
really bad. If you go overdo it. So
which reminded me of Madoka.
Jeez.
So basically, these are magical girls because they power up when they do
and
this.
Boys.
But if it goes too bad, and boys, but whatever.
Who cares about them? They're boys.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, they what do they call it? Succession is what they call it, and they transform into their super powerful version. So yeah, basically it's a magical girl anime, but not girls.
Yeah, their school's the Grand Seed Academy, and that's where they just train to fight monsters and whatnot. One thing is Faria, for example, her knight person is Eunomia.
Eunomia.
And stuff like that. And it's like you got all those like Joe Tsurugi.
Yeah.
Who's the successor to Spike. And this whole thing, he's kind of a hot-headed, that kind of guy. He's all hot-blooded, he's all ready for action, and I'm cool, I'm a manly man, and of course then his power is ice.
Yep. Ice. And
then you got Shirley. You can't be serious.
Can't be serious. Yep.
She's got swords, and weirdly enough, her outfit looks like, she's all transformed, looks like a marching band outfit. I was like, huh.
Interesting.
And you got
swords are cool.
Gareth. Of the Windswold clan. He's an elf. And he's also kind of an edgelord power.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got darkness. He's got the dark saber or whatever.
Yeah. I think Shirley's knight was named Rachel.
I didn't catch it.
I think that's what I caught, and I think this one I have a little question mark in my notes because I wasn't entirely certain. Gareth's was Chris.
Oh.
But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that one.
Yeah. And then there's Gildan, who's the furry.
Yep.
I mean...
they didn't actually give a name for that species because they specifically said elf for the other one.
I just say Catboy.
At least in the first thing. That's literally what I wrote in my notes was Catboy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Nemo is kind of just brought into this because he's in danger and Faria's trying to protect him, and then somehow a power awakens within him, and he gets these little cards that you have to use.
Yeah, that's probably, like you said, it's an MMO, so that's probably a game tie-in. It looks really weird without having any other context.
Yeah, so it's a thing. So it's he gets somehow some weird power from some unnamed. His guy is like unnamed, but he's got like a scar on his eye. And another thing is like he's like, oh, just trust. Don't worry about it. It's just fine. Just trust. It's fine.
Just trust. Why are the heroes? Why are the knights being so cagey about this?
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, then you've got Sophitia, who's the school librarian, because she's very much the Ara type. Ara. And Joe has a crush on her. Obviously, it's pretty obvious.
I think everyone has.
But he in particular is kind of like, because there's this whole, he's specifically trying to save her. Everyone else around, whatever. But her,
Yep. Everyone's kind of got a thing for Sophidia.
Yeah.
She's well endowed.
Yep, of course. And she's an older woman.
Yep. Everyone's kind of got a thing for her.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a whole thing later in the like last episode where Gildan gets like possessed and becomes a monster himself, and apparently the usual thing is, well, we gotta kill him now, and Nemo's like, no, we can't do that, and they manage to save him. So there's that.
Yep, because Gildan was apparently he was suffering feelings of inadequacy.
Yep. They make a pill for that.
Overall, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I don't regret watching the 3 episodes. I'm not really. I feel like I really need to watch more, but I wouldn't feel bad about watching more either. It seems like it has potential.
And the other thing is, they're definitely pushing a romance between Faria and Nemo.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of obvious by the end of the 3rd episode. It's like, okay, yep, they're going down this road. And the other thing I was thinking of, I remember apparently I really liked the ED. I remember that.
Yeah.
Took a note on that. The ED was pretty good.
The ED was pretty good. It was kind of funny when episode 1 we first get the ED and immediately they show the airship and I was like, yeah. And then the first 2 episodes never saw it. I was like, you better not tease me.
Don't tease me like this.
Don't tease me with airships and then not show them.
Hey, look, an airship.
They one did kind of show up in the 3rd episode, so I would expect
they even just jumped out of it to go land and go fight monsters.
Yep, which is pretty cool.
For me personally, it's kind of mildly interesting, but I'm seeing a lot of the cliches pop up. They're just kind of off-putting. I'm not really super invested in the characters to overcome it, so I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yep. It's one of those. It has potential, and I think it could be good, but it depends on how they take it. And it's like, that's why I said I wouldn't mind watching more, but I'm not really going out of my way to do so.
Yeah, I'm just like looking. I'm like, honestly, you're not really convincing me that I should keep up with this because it just feels like
it seems like it's following all the tropes.
Yeah, I'm seeing so many cliches hitting, and again, you're not making the character particularly interesting. So it's like you need to do something if you're gonna be cliche. You at least need to make the characters interesting, and you're just not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like they might. I mean, because they started expanding upon Gildan a bit there, but
a little bit. But yeah, I don't know.
Might do it more.
There's a lot about it. It was kind of like I'm just kind of like when I saw Nemo was basically chosen, I was like, oh, of course he is.
Yeah, he's the main
character. Of course
character.
he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just a lot about it just I was like, I don't know. I'm just like I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. It has potential, but it would have to actually execute on that potential before it would really, really be worth going out of your way.
I think it was largely animated pretty well, but
I would say so. It looks really nice, I would say. The action sequences are fairly decent. I think I've seen better, but it's still pretty good.
I've seen worse too.
But yeah.
All right, yeah, that's what it
is. It rides the line of adequacy. It's adequate, I would say. It is adequate, but
if they had a big hook in the 3rd episode, I probably would have gone for it. But as it was, their hook was, he might, if he does something wrong, he might actually become bad or something.
Yep.
I'm like, oh,
it's not that big of a hook. I mean, they're subtly implying there might be something more with Nemo.
Yeah, it's Nemo. Yeah, you want to say Nemo
it's Nemo,
but spelled.
I'm gonna see Nemo.
But the way it's pronounced in Japanese,
they should give him
Nemo.
A really big boat.
Oh. yeah. It's just it's skippable.
Yeah, it is, and I wish it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, it could be better, and who knows? They may do something later in episode 4, but they should have done it sooner.
Yeah,
they should have done it sooner.
In fact, it's also an adaptation to an MMO. Kind of, it's also the off-putting part because like
that does kind of off-put a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not into MMO, so I have no intention of ever playing it.
Yeah, MMO. But yeah, who would ever want to watch an anime that's based off of a video game, right?
Anyway, moving on though to next one. We watched something called Tokyo Revengers. In this one, you got Hanagaki Takamichi, who's like he's living in an apartment by himself. He's only had one girlfriend back in middle school. Her name was Tachibana Hinata. He was watching TV and he finds out, her and her brother got killed by gang activity. That sucks. Huh. He just kind of, that puts him in a weird, one of those thinking
Someone
your life.
I used to, yeah.
Over
I used to
and
know
like,
just died.
wow, I'm
wow.
My neighbors hate me. I'm just in a job I hate. People walk all over me,
Wow, I suck.
Yeah, and of course, the worst part, he's a virgin. And all this stuff. And he's just kind of reminiscent of where did my life go so wrong?
Yep.
Yeah, he's also thinking about how he used to be in a gang in middle school, and then he was pushed in front of a train. Someone pushed him in front of a train, and then oh crap! And then next thing you know is he's back in middle school. What?
Yep. And he thinks this is life flashing before his eyes.
Yeah. So he's at first like, this is just weird, and then like, wait, what?
Wait, it's not.
So yeah, he sees his old gang: Makoto, Yamagishi, Akun, and Takia, and it's 2005 again, and yeah, and he and his, I guess, friends wind up getting beaten the crap beaten out of them because, they decided to pick a fight with some third years.
Again?
Yeah.
Because that's what happened before. The first time.
Yeah, and then he winds up running into Hinata's little brother at one point after, actually he first goes to his girlfriend because hasn't seen her in years and kind of, has a weird emotional moment. And then
I remember. You were really nice. I really liked you.
Yeah, and then winds up running to a little kid and kind of talking to him about stuff. And then, because after, defending him from some bullies a bit. Mostly because, you're being loud. Shut up, you're annoying me.
Yep.
But it winds up, it's Naoto, Hinata's little brother. And so he basically, whatever, I'm just going to tell you about the future.
Yep.
And
you're going to die in 12 years.
On this day. You and your sister will die, and then he snaps back to 2017, and he changed something because now Naoto's alive,
and so is he.
Yeah, and
because he survived getting hit by a train
somehow.
They don't explain that.
Yeah, they
it just says, "I saved you because you told me about this date."
Don't worry about it.
Don't explain how.
I guess he just jumped out, grabbed him, moved.
Then why was he unconscious in the hospital?
Well, shock. Think about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Anyway, so it's basically, he's like, you were right about this. You time traveled somehow. And so
she's still dead.
Yeah, she's unfortunately, Hinata's still dead. But listen, we can save her. We just need to send you back again. So basically now the plan is send him back so they can alter history because he's now, Naoto's now a cop. So he became a cop specifically so he could research this gang, the Tokyo Manji gang, so he could stop them from killing his sister.
Yep.
And so he sends this information back to the past through Takemichi to change it so that the sister lives.
Yep.
And that's kind of the gist of it. And I'm actually genuinely really interested because of this.
Yep.
I was not expecting a time travel story.
Right, so I'm also going to ruin it by saying it's basically Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, I've heard about Butterfly Effect.
It's just, you haven't actually seen those movies?
I've watched them, but I know about them.
Okay.
I know about them. I've watched them, but I've read stuff about them. It's like, okay, because...
I've watched the Butterfly Effect movies. They're interesting. I wouldn't say, they're so good, you have to go watch them. But they're interesting. Yeah. It's an interesting concept. But, it's basically Butterfly Effect. And I will poke holes in the time travel system of Butterfly Effect.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that one. But otherwise I went into this not expecting to like it once I saw how it was starting. And I was like, oh, this is going to be
some loser.
Yeah, some loser getting the girl or something like that and something,
Surprise.
But no, this is actually an interesting hook and I am interested in where it's going.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing I would say is the method of time travel is a little weird because the whole thing apparently hinges on Takemichi and Naoto shaking hands.
Yeah.
And then somehow he snaps back.
Which doesn't explain how he did it the first time.
I suspect, this is my theory, that we saw someone push him. I suspect that's somehow Naoto. Somehow. We don't know. We're going to get some sort of explanation later.
Because he was dead.
I know. But that's why I say somehow we're going to get some sort of explanation there. Why did some rando push him? We saw that was a very much an intentional shove into the train tracks.
I vaguely remember the person who did that seemed almost drunk. So
I don't know. I just remember
they were kind of. I remember they were kind of swaying around when they were walking as they were showing that.
I just remember.
I don't know. They've hand waved a couple things, so who knows?
Yeah, you kind of have to do with time travel because otherwise, if you overanalyze time travel, it will fall apart in every piece of media.
Yes,
even the best time travel stories.
I was about to say Back to the Future plot holes.
Yeah. Shh, we don't talk about those. Those doesn't exist. That is the exception to the rule, obviously.
Obviously, one thing, the handshake. It reminded me. I don't know if you've ever played. You may have. Red Alert 1.
No.
From Westwood City, the RTS. The opening cinematic from Red Alert 1. The entire storyline is based on the Chronosphere. They go back in time and stop Hitler.
Right, I remember
and that changes history. And now you know the alternate history where Germany didn't happen. So it was basically the Soviets just started taking over.
Right.
But the opening cutscene was a scientist who went back, found an early Hitler just walking down the street, and went up and talked to him and shook his hand and did this effect and basically erased Hitler from history. So that's what it reminded me because of the focus on the handshake. It was the same sort of thing, and then the flash of light, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, so the whole thing where it's like, I this one's the scene where he goes back to the past and he's like, he sees a mirror and he's like, who's this dork? Oh wait, that's me.
Who's this?
Because like the whole thing. Oh my god, I was such a dork in high school. No, because bleached hair and you got these stupid puffy pants and
yep, bleached hair
and everything. It's just there's a whole thing that's like he's like kind of slowly remembering this stuff. Like, oh yeah, my cousin Masaru claimed he was a leader of some other gang in a different school. No, he totally lied. He's just some lackey. He's just a water boy, essentially.
Yep.
And
then they end up becoming basically the slaves of this other gang, who happens to be a subunit of the major gang that ends up
the Tokyo Manji gang.
Yep, a subunit of them.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Is like they're trying to. It's okay, because in the future the gang has two leaders, Sano Manjiro and Kisaki Tada. And like Naoto's like, you got to stop those two from meeting, and then that should fix a lot of issues right there.
Yep, because apparently all the problems that they were having were caused by infighting between those two.
Yeah, so he goes back and he's this day where it's like, oh yeah, we were forced to fight, and he's just kind of like, wait, what, and then gets one hit because he's not really.
Yep, nah.
Prepared. Got to check his flip phone real quick. Oh wow, flip phone! I haven't seen one of these in.
Flip phone.
Because it was 2005. The iPhone was not at the market for another 2-3 years,
something like that.
And actually in Japan was really slow to adopt smartphones.
Flip phones. The only people who have flip phones now are drug dealers.
Yep. And you believe a lot of those are us now. They're going to stop supporting them entirely.
Yeah, networks are being shut down.
Yep. So that's a thing. Anyway. Yeah, so he realizes to change the future, he has to change himself because he's a kind of a coward. And he realized part of that is he got conditioned to be because of middle school. Middle school conditioned him to be just subservient.
Because he got
drafted in this gang as a lackey. And to the point where when he graduated middle school, he bailed as fast as he could.
Yep.
He just
left the entire town, just
cut everything off.
Including his girlfriend.
Yep, his friend, his girlfriend.
Just bailed.
Just ran away.
Yep.
And because it was so bad, he couldn't stand another. And now he's like, I need to actually stand up for myself. And he does so, and he attracts the attention of the leader, Sano.
Much to his initial dismay.
He's freaked out, and then he actually winds up like talking to him, and Sano's got some nobility to him.
He's still kind of a dick, but
there's a kind of a certain degree of good in him. So, wow, something must have changed between now and then. And then he winds up actually passing by Kisaki on the street. It's like, he looks familiar, whatever. Then he accidentally made sure they didn't meet because he befriended Sano. Although Sano actually said, "You're my friend now." What?
You're my friend now.
And there's a whole thing where it's like, he stood up to him because don't you dare do anything to my girlfriend.
Yeah, that's after his girlfriend slapped him in the face.
Yeah, slaps on him in the face. How dare you?
And it was just like,
bully my boyfriend here. And she's just sitting there like shaking, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. But, covering up pretty well. But like, I respect you. I like the fact that you're willing to do that.
Yep.
So it just made things even better. And so that's where we left off, I guess, is
that
he's
was the
befriended
end of
the leader.
3, yeah.
But the other thing was like the leader went to this, I guess, lieutenant guy who was the one forcing him to do the fights. And I remember that he's like, get my bat. I was like, isn't that going to kill him? This is supposed to be a fist fight. Then he comes up there's like, tell him you're not supposed to do it. And then blah, blah, kicks him right in the face.
Yep.
Everyone's afraid of this kind of small dude comparatively.
Yeah, until that happens.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyways, yeah. Again, I'm just actually genuinely interested in this one. I do actually want to keep up on this one, I think, because it's just...
It's definitely interesting. It's not what I was expecting when I went into it.
Yeah, I did not expect that, but like, I think I see where this is going to go, but I still really want to see it play out.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to see some setbacks. I'm wondering how much of they're going to whoop the danger of messing with time, like that.
Yeah.
If we're going to get into that, whoops, you changed too much or what. Or if they're going to kind of shy away from that, who knows. But anyway, I'm expecting that by the end somehow the girlfriend's going to be alive in the future. Or, because I'm noticing the girlfriend also, Hinata keeps popping up in the OP and ED a lot in certain ways. It makes me wonder if we're going to, boy, is that going to be a thing where it turns out he's alive just because she changed the time stream somehow at some point. And now it's it's one of those things. And now she's gone because she changed it so he survived. Yeah. Because I've seen that stuff in the ED and whatnot. I was like, because she's definitely important. We're seeing an adult version of her in like the ED. So I'm guessing that means she does survive at some point.
At some point.
So it makes me wonder.
Yeah. I hope she does. I actually kind of like her.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm genuinely interested in this, and I'm
might have to keep up with it.
Yep. That's Tokyo Revengers. Yeah, it's just Revengers. Just
Yep.
Revengeance. Revengers assemble. Revengers resemble. What?
What?
Yeah, go ahead and move on to the third one. It's Koito Yobu ni wa Kimochi Warui, or Kokomo. I saw what it was genre-wise going in, but I didn't know all the things. But yeah, basically, there's some guy, he sleeps around, he's a womanizer. And we even open up with him like he's in bed with one woman, he doesn't even know her name.
Yep.
Right? And he's just like, why is she still here? That sort of thing. So it's like, anyway, he's just kind of walking off. He's a little dizzy, and he almost like falls down some stairs till a girl grabs him with her umbrella and yanks him back by a collar. And he's like, oh, you saved me. And like, she's like making sure he's all right, also apologizing, sorry, I choked you, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, I'm just dizzy. It's like, oh, did you not eat breakfast? No. Oh, here, take my lunch. Then she just runs off.
Yep.
And he's like, huh. And then, anyway, he opens the lunch, and he eats it, and he kind of, that girl looks a lot like my little sister Rio. Her uniform looked like hers. Huh, weird. And then he goes home, and oh, there's the girl.
There she is.
She's friends with the little sister. Her name's Ichika Arima, and his name is Rio Amakusa. And he decides, to thank her for saving her, except him, and to do so. In order to do so, he decides to offer himself up to her. At first, just a kiss, or maybe more if she's into it. And she shuts him down, calling him creepy.
Yep.
And at that
which
point,
he did not expect.
And at that point, he goes, "Oh, my heart just went doki doki. I'm in love with you now." And she goes, "What?" And then the rest of it is more or less just him chasing after her and her kind of going, "No."
Yep.
Until that towards the end of the third episode, there's
Yep. It's not love, it's Stockholm syndrome.
I saw the warning signs real quick when I saw, he's a working man, adult, quick. And she's clearly in high school.
Yep.
Oh no.
Okay, so
according to what I looked up, he is 27.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Ichika and what's his face's sister, or his sister are Rio. In the same school. I don't know if they're in the same class, or they're about the same age.
Yes. And
Ryo's 10 years older.
He's 27, she's 17.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
That is a no bueno.
That's a no-go. Just straight up no-go.
Do not. Now, if he was like a 20, little give you a bit of a side eye for aiming that young, but I guess you're fine.
A 3-year gap isn't.
You're fine, but barely. You watch it.
Toeing the line.
You're fine, but you need to watch yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like it's a problem. It's a big problem. Is just simply he's pursuing her real hard. She has made it clear she's not interested, and he keeps going.
Yep. And it's playing. It's playing pretty gross. Trope of it's really gross. But it's playing the whole, if keeps trying, she'll eventually fall.
Mm-hmm. Which it seems like that's exactly what they're doing, because we see that, she's starting to fall for it.
Yeah.
Because of course she is. Of course she is.
Of course. Even when they introduce some other stuff, Tamaru. So Ichika is a nerd.
Mm-hmm. Into manga.
She's into manga and games and stuff like that, and anime. She ends up running into someone else who also is Tamaru.
Kai Tamaru.
Yep. And that one's introduced as sort of like a competition, I guess.
Yeah, he definitely develops a bit of an interest in her. I looked some stuff up out of curiosity. Yep, he develops an interest in her as well.
Yep.
Yeah, which makes Ryo there
jealous.
Very territorial very quickly.
Yep. And we even saw that in the first 3 episodes. Well, the 3rd episode, but yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, the little sister Rio is like, this is kind of funny. I'm going to make sure to push them together.
Yep. Rio keeps pushing them together. Her goal is because, I guess, her and her brother never really got along. It never really talked. Apparently there was some parental issues.
Mm-hmm.
And now with Ichika around, they're getting along better, and that's what she's looking for. It's just having something to talk to her brother about, which I get, but not like that.
Like he's this. He's doing stuff like I'm sending her flowers every day and random other gifts, and it's just like, dude, she's 10 years younger than you, and she's made it clear she has zero interest. You need to kind of back off.
Yeah.
It doesn't help, though, that it's weird how some people seem to be kind of, well, hold up, you shouldn't be doing that, and then kind of flip their switch to, no, it's fine.
Yeah, like his friend.
Yeah, his best friend there, the photographer.
Yeah, the photographer guy. It was like, what are you doing with a high schooler? That's not right. I mean, it seems I'm not actually doing anything.
For them, the line is they thought, he's actually trying to sleep with her, and no, it's actually he's trying to genuinely pursue an actual relationship. So no, it's fine now.
Yeah, and it's like that doesn't.
Like one's really scuzzy, and the other one's still pretty scuzzy.
Just because it's not as because it's not as bad doesn't mean that it isn't bad.
Yeah. It's frustrating, because what I think it's really frustrating is a large chunk of it is actually kind of enjoyable. There's like bits and pieces that are really enjoyable, and a lot of the characters themselves are actually pretty nice. Like
Ichika herself.
Yeah,
but
it just the core concept is just so ew.
Yeah, it's rotten at its core. You can't fix this even by polishing it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do to make it work. And heck, one thing I did notice as well was watching it was something about the audio quality for the dialogue was just off.
Oh,
I'm not sure if it was because of the source or what, but I noticed it's like it definitely felt like this was recorded at someone's home and not in a professional studio. This is probably a result of the pandemic, unfortunately.
Possibly. So yeah, I wouldn't really use that against it.
Still, it's like I noticed it real quick.
Yeah, that's one of those. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but you can't blame them.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of one of those. And it doesn't help that this guy Ryo, of course, every single girl just swoons all over him because he's so hot and dreamy, and that's the whole thing. That's what it plays into. He's just so used to women just falling on his feet that when one just says nah, of course he's immediately interested.
Yep.
Of course, that had to be a high school girl.
Always want what you cannot have.
Yeah, and winds up meeting up or running into one of his hookups.
Hookups. I think it was the same one from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning, yeah. And he's just sitting there like, I don't remember your name. And he even does a weird thing where like he just kind of rubs a napkin on her face to mess up her makeup because she ruined his time with Ichika.
Yeah. Yep, this one's just frustrating and
it's frustrating because there's a lot that would be likable if they just adjusted some. All they had to do is adjust something. Either A, make her older, or B, make him younger, and that would have worked out just fine.
Yep, fix the age gap issue. I would also say the core concept of him, the core concept of the
being rejected and still pursuing this
and
hard,
still pushing and ending up winning anyway. Yep. Yeah, that core concept needs to change too, as well as the age gap.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a really common one.
Yeah.
You just gotta, if she says no, just keep going. Just keep asking until she gives in and says yes.
Yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
It's a bad thing. So anyway, I can't, and I cannot in any good conscience recommend watching this.
No, I'm not gonna even bother.
I have no desire to ever watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm out. Yeah, so I guess move on to the final one, which is Sayonara Watashi no Kramer, or Farewell, My Dear Kramer. Yeah, it's Kramer.
Not Kramer. Yeah. Not Kramer.
Yeah, so it's soccer. It's high school soccer.
Yep.
Apparently the whole backstory is women's soccer in Japan isn't, doing very good. It's one of those things. And there's a Nozomi Onda who's really skilled at it. She's really good, and she actually was playing with the boys for a while, and she's just been convinced to go ahead and try to join the girls team in high school. And she has a best friend named Saiwa H's in, and there's a couple guys, Tetsuji Yamada and Kaoru Takai, who some of her teammates. They're kind of they're there. But anyway, she winds up going to this high school. Which one was it? Warabi Seinen High School.
Yeah.
Yeah, she winds up going there along with some other really good soccer players. Named Sumeri Suo and Midori Shosizaki. They're both also really talented. Like Sumeri Suo, she's on a team where she's like the only good player. She's the only one who's genuinely interested in doing this, taking this seriously. Everyone else is like, we just want to play for fun.
Yep.
And that's that sort of thing. So it's like, kind of stuck on a great player, stuck on a dead end team.
Yep.
And she winds up, her and Midori there wind up joining the same team because, the whole rivalry thing going on. Except, in Suo's mind. Instead, so they just wind up there. And unfortunately, the coach for this high school, Goru Fukatsu, he's more interested in horse racing than he is in soccer. So he just kind of sits on the bench reading his horse racing magazines.
Yeah.
Anyway, they introduce a bunch of second years, and they're kind of put on they're kind of put together and all this stuff. It's just a good old ragtag bunch of people kind of with some talent, trying to go from the bottom to the top like the usual sports thing.
Yep.
It's one of those things that you see this story a million times. Have you seen anything like sports focused in like in movies or TV? You know what you're getting.
Yep.
Does it make it bad? No,
but you're not going to be surprised by anything.
Yeah. And of course, and then the thing is, a professional Naoko Nomi finds up being their coach because she's an alma mater of the high school.
Yep.
They also introduced more or less what's going to be the rival team, which is Urawa Hosei.
Yep, which is supposedly like the best team.
Yep. She winds up saying the coach there because she sees like how crap they are in practice, going to set up a match against the championship team because I'm going to show you how bad you are, so you're forced to improve.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing like they introduced a whole bunch of second years who are probably going to be completely irrelevant.
Probably.
I don't know. There's Aya Shiratori. She's she just buys into her own hype that much. She also has the laugh.
Oh no. Yeah. And everyone gets on her case all the time because she's nowhere near as talented as she thinks she is. All because she scored one goal that one time.
Yeah. She also gets lost real easily.
Apparently.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, it's a sports anime, so it's like, you kind of know where it's going to go. It's going to be the good old underdog story, and, you're going to get sucked in, kind of get sucked into it, and there you go.
Yeah. There's some odd artistic choices, though.
Yeah, I that's the one thing, is the art style is kind of, I'm not really a fan of it.
I'm not sometimes. A fan of it. And they do this weird thing whenever people are standing in front of a fence.
Yeah.
They make the fence transparent in front of their faces so that it's not in front of their faces, and it looks really weird.
Yeah, the other thing is I did notice this, and I noticed other people making the same criticism, which is the animation kind of seems very low budget.
It does.
There's a lot of stuff where it's like the budget's just not there for this thing. And you can just you can feel it. You're watching, it's like, oh, there's a lot of still frames for a sports anime.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think all in all, it's one of those, it's probably not bad. It can probably be enjoyable, especially if you're into sports. But otherwise, it seems to be following the standard procedure for a sports anime.
Mean, the characters seem seem okay.
The characterizations are fine. I mean, there's nothing bad. I wouldn't say really, really bad about it. There's some stuff that's kind of lesser than others.
Like Nozomi there.
Saying the budget.
Like Nozomi, she's like all flighty, like spaced out during practice, and then she's just during the game, she actually goes, whoa, and then like gets all serious because she saw how good the other team was.
Right.
She went all serious mode and whoa. And because their whole thing was like their coach, the other team, their coach told them, you need to get at least 10 goals and shut them out. If you don't, you're not playing ever again this year.
Yep.
And
dick.
Oh yeah, then that's how the team starts kind of being all dickish. Mm-hmm. And at first, Suo there was like, we need them to underestimate this. The next time we play them, they don't take us seriously, and then we can surprise them. And then she kind of gets pushed just hard enough. Now I'm on board with Nozomi. We're gonna score at least one goal just to screw them over.
Just so you have to deal with that, yeah.
Just to flip them off as we lose.
Yep.
There's other things like, currently Nomi, the coach, apparently she, her family owns a restaurant, and that's a whole thing. She was using weird food analogies, like, oh, that's why, restaurant, okay.
Restaurant, yep.
That's what she knows.
Yep.
Yeah, there's other things, like, she's like really like, oh, scary.
She can be. Drop and give me 120.
Yep. You screwed up a little bit.
Yep.
The other thing, there's sometimes little bits of narration, kind of basically, oh, this is where the thing began, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there was also one of the things that they did every now and then. It was kind of neat, though I think it might be common, I don't know, for sports stuff, is they'll drop into those like diagrams showing stuff and be a little bit more technical about the sport itself.
I don't think that's always that common, but I think in this case it was very much this is pretty easy to animate.
That too, but I do appreciate things when they drop into technical stuff.
Oh, good. I can understand what's going on.
well, more than that, being a fan of like hard sci-fi, I really like it when people get more technical because I like technical stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of, for me personally, it was kind of...
so here's the thing. I was kind of ready to just kind of write this thing off. Like, okay, it's kind of predictable, and on top of the animation's not very good. It's probably not worth keeping up with, right? But then at the last bit of the third episode, I got oh, wait, it actually might be gay. Crap. Now I might actually have to watch it. Because of the whole bit at the end about what? There's like a line at the end about implying romantic feelings. Like, huh?
I don't remember that one.
It was right at the very end of the third episode. Like there's a line that very much implied there's a part of development of romantic feelings between two of the girls or something like, uh-oh. At least that's how I interpret it. I was like, uh-oh, crap.
I don't know. It was I watched it on a Friday night.
So I don't know. I might have to just because of that, but
just because of the potential. As long as it's not baiting.
Yeah, as long as I don't get baited. If I get baited, then I'm gonna be mad. But honestly, really, it's probably not really worth checking out. I suspect it's gonna wind up being like Cinderella 9 way back when.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, because that was also had some budget issues.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those where it's like there's so many characters that just cannot really, unless they're focusing on those three specific or 3 or 4 specifically, they're going to probably run into issues real quick.
Yeah, I think as far as characters that they're talking about going, I think as long as they stick with what they've done the first 3, where they're primarily only putting the main focus on those handful of the team, they can handle that all right. But it's one of those, it still feels like they're just going to pull the
usual
same trope.
Well, it doesn't. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing because
it's not a bad
for
thing
a long time. So it's like,
if sports animes are your thing, then you'll probably enjoy it.
Maybe.
I'm not you. I can't say. But I don't feel like I'm really going to be all that enthralled by this one.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those where it's like, it could have been. It's like if it was better animated, this conversation might be going a bit differently. But
yep. The odd artistic choices and such was just kind of throwing me off.
The art style and the animation combo, it's like,
yep, it kept distracting me from everything else that was going on.
A couple times where it's like you'd see a character and like, why are your eyes so far apart? Like they're practically like on your sides of your head. This is weird looking.
What was that one anime that's like always played as the example of that? With the eyes.
Clanad?
Hidamari's. What?
Was it Clanad?
It's not Hidamari's sketch. It was another one where it's just the eyes are just way off.
I don't know. I was just thinking of Clanad.
I think that might be it. Clanad.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those that could have been, I think, something more, and just kind of thanks to budget wound up not being something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's all these things. So yeah, 7 Nights, solid but skippable. Tokyo Revengers, genuinely interesting. Want to see more.
Yeah, Tokyo Revengers is not what I was expecting, and definitely is probably the one I'm most interested to see where it goes.
Kokomo, absolutely not.
Not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
And Kramer, almost.
Could have been better.
Could have been something, but it wound up being shooting itself in the foot.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe something happens later in the season, but yeah, I'm not really expecting a whole lot from it. I might have to just, eventually just, at the end of the season, look at it. Okay, did the gay happen? Did the gay actually happen? Because I've been baited before. I was baited hard. But anyway, I guess that's it for this episode.
Yep, that's it.
That's it for this spring anime. There's some stuff I really hoped would come up on this, but didn't. But and there's definitely stuff I want to check out that was not on this podcast. We might get into.
Might
in the
have
future.
to do it later.
I don't know, or I'll at least very well watch it, even if we don't ever talk about it on the podcast. That sort of thing.
Yeah, because you can just watch things that we don't talk about. That's always an option.
Yeah, I've done that. Not a big deal. But yeah, it's because I'm keeping up with Zombieland Saga Revenge because that's been great.
I need to start watching that. I haven't got around to it yet, but I need to.
Great, and I really love the most recent episode as of this recording.
Yeah,
that was amazing. You need to see it.
I do. I need to start watching those. I just always end up being busy with something.
That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you could check out other episodes. We're on newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. It's spelled Libsyn. I see all the episodes there. You can subscribe to the RSS feed if you want. You could also subscribe to us via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or Amazon Podcasts. All of those but the Amazon one are linked at the top of the page if you want to subscribe that way and all that stuff. Or you can search for New to Weeaboo and it'll show up and you can subscribe there as well if you want. You could also contact us via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com if you have questions or comments or anime suggestions. Anything. Did you watch any of this stuff? Do you disagree with us? Do you agree with us? Any of these? Are you some sort of huge mega 7 Nights fan? You're like, how dare you? Do you like creepy romances and you're upset that we were passing judgment, which is so good? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe something about, because I know the soccer one's based on a manga, which apparently was, I've heard the manga is actually good, so I don't know on that, but is that all that thing? I don't know. What do you think? What's your favorite of the season so far? What's the worst of the season? I don't know. Whatever. That sort of thing. And of course, you could also contact or follow us on Twitter @newtoweeaboo if you want to follow us and retweet and like and all that stuff. New episodes will come out there. All that nonsense. I'll occasionally tweet on it. Watch Zombieland Saga Revenge.
Yeah.
You can also follow personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1 and he's at Alcatraz with a 77T and an underscore at the end. And mostly robots on my end. Still. I did finish finally getting through my backlog of reviews to do, so that's something. Just got to edit them and get them out the door.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Tune in next time. We'll be talking about Welcome to the NHK, our first suggested anime to watch.
Yep. I've heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I'm definitely not the first time I've heard of it, but I've never actually watched it, so we'll see how this goes. So hope to see you then, and take care of yourselves, and goodbye.
See ya.